I think the biggest thing with Reagor is Rager's a guy that he is excellent after the catch, or he's excellent when he has the ball in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
Now, getting the ball to him, that's been the problem.
Right.
Because he doesn't have great hands.
No.
I'm not saying he can't catch, but he's not consistently catching balls that are to him, especially if they're contested.
Why can't he find anybody open? I don't know. Because these guys are here.
Look at that. That's 3 players. 3 Giants.
What do you
Wow.
want to throw the football?
Welcome back to the middle. Got a lot to get to here today. I watched, like I said, basically the entire game because of the Manning cast. I did flip back to the regular broadcast a little because I wanted to get a little flavor of Riddick and Greasy and Levy. I tell you, Levy, I love his hair, man. I would love to have. I love that all like white, gray hair. I think that's a good look if you've got hair. Yeah.
If you could pull it off, you just have like I like the all gray beard, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you can pull it off if it's all the same color. Like I just have it right here.
You
but
can't
in my
go
head,
full Santa though. I think it needs to be kind of a tight beard so you don't start looking like Santa Claus.
Right.
You know?
It has to be shorter and tighter. I wish my beard would grow longer. It didn't grow longer, but I just got gray right here. Like my head, it's just salt and pepper, man. So it doesn't really look, it doesn't have that look. That's why I shaved my head.
Yeah, it looks good bald.
My hairline will actually grow all the way down here. I don't have to I'm not balding. I'm not balding.
You're not LeBron?
No, my hair is all the way down here. It grows all. I have to make my own lining.
Oh yeah.
So it looks all right. So it looks appropriate. Yeah. Or otherwise it'll grow all the way down to my eyebrows. So I'm like the after. I'm never gonna be bald. So I'm like, going in the opposite direction. Mine will grow down farther instead of growing back.
Can you grow the beard in here though, full, or is
like right in here is my bad spots right here because they just don't grow. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They just never grow. It never grows right. So I try to stick with it, man, but it's tough, man. It's tough. I just try to brush over it. I don't cut right here. I just let it grow. Right. I just cut right here, and then I just brush over it. So it's a task, man. It's a task, man.
It is. You're getting all the grooming is a pain in the ass.
Oh, man.
It really is.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got to get up and take a shower every day. You know what I'm saying? When you're over 300 pounds, you got to take a shower every day, bro. If you don't, man, it could be a problem.
Oh, yeah?
And I see some people that don't do it.
Well, when you say a problem, what do you mean a problem? Like,
man, you're a big guy, man. You move around, you get a little sweaty, man. You're going to stink a little bit, man. You got to make sure you groom yourself. Okay. I got to give them what they come to see. Yeah. All of this got to look all right, man. I got to give them all of this. So I got to give them what they come to see,
man.
So
what kind of prep time are we talking here before you go in to do the pregame show? Like how long does it take to get this ready?
Oh, you know what? I usually take care of it at home because I shave my head and groom my beard. And that probably takes me about 30 minutes.
Really?
Shower, you know what I'm saying, brushing teeth and cutting hair and lining it up and everything. Then I'm out. Then I got to get my clothes ready. Now, when you're a big guy, you can't be dressing like, you have to dress nice. You got to dress appropriate. You can't be big and sloppy. And that's a bad look. You know what I'm saying? Big and sloppy just isn't, it isn't pleasing to the eyes. Like I said, I got to give them what they come to see.
You got to keep it tight.
You got to keep it tight. Yeah.
Right.
So then I pick my clothes out, make sure my clothes are done. So when I do get there, I don't put makeup on. I used to, but I don't. I probably should, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those guys do. Me and Ray Diddy, we don't need the makeup. It is what it is. You're gonna get what you're gonna get. So
I noticed Ray doesn't use the makeup.
No, Ray doesn't use makeup. No, Ray is a regular guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? In fact, you're not going to see his face anyways because he's going to be looking down at his notes, writing stuff down.
He probably doesn't even like the fact that it's on television. He probably prefer that it was on radio, right? Yeah, I get that feeling.
If all things being equal, he would rather be behind his desk, sitting down, and he just have the mic down here.
Right. And we hear Ray, but we don't see Ray. Like that would be funny if you guys did that, like sort of change it up and have Ray in his own like little cubicle where you don't even see him, but you hear him. Well, let's go to Ray.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Ray from the closet.
And you hear him turning over the legal pad sheets as he's giving you all his takes from the game, but you don't see him.
You never he'd be Best host, and he'd love that. But you can tell when Ray wants to say something. He does two things. Number one, he'll be sitting up looking like this. And that means he wants to say something, because that means he's not looking at his notes. He wants to say something. And when he's up like this,
cue to Barkhand to introduce him.
And if you're really not paying attention to him, he'll do this with his pen. Everybody look at him do this with his pen. He'll tap his pen.
I've seen that
on his notepad. That means he really has something to say there. He really has something.
Almost
like I'll stop.
It's almost like the judge taking a gavel and going boom, 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 order.
I'll stop halfway through what I'm saying. Oh man, Ray got to say something. So I'll look at Ray and go ahead and tell Ray, go ahead.
Back.
Yep.
All right. Well, there was a point on the stream that I wanted to get to here, because I wanted to get your take on this. I found it was kind of interesting. We were talking about Jalen Reagor with Dave Zangaro, and I mean, every week it keeps coming up when he's basically a no-show in the stat sheet, and then you run that juxtaposed to looking at Justin Jefferson and what he just did for the Vikings in whatever game, and it's just like, oh my God. But Anthony Gleaves on the stream, we appreciate him, says Reagor hasn't been helped at all by Jalen's inability to throw the ball inside the numbers. He only throws the ball to the right.
I think it may be more so play design, him being a right-handed quarterback, and you want to move him around in the pocket. So most of the routes, when he moves out of the pocket, he's more successful when he goes to the right. So you're going to call plays that you help him out in that capacity. He does go left, and when he does go left, he doesn't throw well going to the left, because you have to throw around across your body, and most quarterbacks don't do that well.
He goes to Devontae to the left.
He'll go to Devontae wherever he is, left, right, and center. You know what I'm saying? But, he just – I mean, I think it's more so what he does in play calling. I think the biggest thing with Reagor is Rager's a guy that he is excellent after the catch, or he's excellent when he has the ball in his hands. Now, getting the ball to him, that's been the problem.
Right.
Because he doesn't have great hands.
No.
I'm not saying he can't catch, but he's not consistently catching balls that are to him, especially if they're contested, number one.
Right.
Number two, because he doesn't create separation well, they're going to be contested.
And how does he not create separation with the speed that he apparently
has? His route running is not crisp. He rounds routes off, which gives the defense a chance to get back into phase with him in his routes.
Well, why don't they run like these pick plays that everybody else seems to get away with most?
They don't do that very well. They get called for it.
Yeah.
Their guys are young, so they don't know. They don't, like, if you watch the older guys, when they had Ertz knew how to do it without getting a call. These guys don't. Even Smith had one this last game where he engaged the guy and put his hands on him.
Right, he got called for it.
Yeah, he got called for it.
But I mean, Sirianni's the wide receiver whisperer, I thought.
Well, there lies the problem. That's what we've been talking about. You know? That's supposed to be, who he is.
That's his forte, and there really hasn't been any development yet of really Quez Watkins or Reagor, if you ask me.
It hasn't shown me anything to say anything differently than he's just a coach. Also, Reagor has to understand how to run routes, how to get open. I mean, Smith came in already knowing how to do that, how to create separation. There are little things that you can do in route running that can help you out.
Yeah.
Little things you can't see, like when you can look at a DB. If a DB has you man to man, you're looking at a DB when you're running a route. If you run up to that DB full speed, look at him straight in his eyes, and you know where you're going, but he doesn't.
Right.
It gives you an opportunity then to make a move. You run right up. They call it, running right up. You almost like you're stepping on his toes. Get all the way up on his toes and then go with the route. That's the way you can get open. Or if you're running a route, if you're going inside, when you're going into the route with the BB's on you, lean the opposite way of what you're going to go. When you lean into his body, you're going to create a little separation when you leave up, because he's going to be trying to lean into you. And that way you create the separation just by leaning in routes, just body position.
And there's more reason for why they should have taken Jefferson, because he came from a school in LSU where they're just packed. The whole roster, the whole depth chart of wide receivers are pros. And
All
they're
three of them went
working
first
out
round.
and practicing every day against other pros at cornerback and learning how to do these things where they can come into the league a little bit more polished,
I don't know.
you know, and ready to go and hit the ground running like Devontae is at Alabama. You don't go to TCU in the first round and take a freaking wide receiver. The Redskins did it a couple of years ago when they were still the Redskins. That kid Doxson, remember him?
Yep.
He stinks. He was out of the league, I think, 2 years later. Another TCU wide receiver.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
I mean,
just, I don't know.
You didn't make the right decision. There was no, and I think they were trying to say, all right, well, Jefferson he was a slot receiver.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, the thing is they're smarter than everybody else. And how he was going to get there. Wow, they got that guy from TCU. I didn't see him as a first round pick. Look at this guy. He's a stud. That's what that's all about. Right.
Neither did I.
And there's a reason for it.
Like I was talking to Ray about it. And Ray, when we did our evaluations, I did my evaluation. I had him late second, early third. And Ray said,
Reagor.
Yeah, Jalen Reagor.
Right.
I said he was late second, early third.
Okay.
And Ray said, well, he had him first. I mean, he had him early to late third round, not even in the second round. Early to late third round. He thought he was a third rounder as opposed to him being a second or a first. So we were both. I was like dumbstruck when they called it because we're doing a show. I said, well, I don't know about you, Ray, but I didn't think that I thought they reached to get him. But I understand why they got him, but I don't understand why they got him that early. Jalen Reagor was more so a guy, like you said, just a guy. The prototype that he should be, and he should be watching film on, is Deebo Samuels.
Oh.
He should not he should not spend 2 minutes watching anything on TV.
That guy's physical.
Yeah, but Deebo Samuels and how he plays the game, how they open up and maximize his potential by having him do all these things, you know what I'm saying, to get him the ball.
All right.
And if he sees that, he could probably do it.
We've seen some teams putting wide receivers in the backfield, utilizing. San Francisco did it, with Samuel. What about putting Reagor in the backfield and getting him started sort of like a running back?
Yes, he has a running back build.
Right.
I mean, he's a thicker type of receiver. He could do that. But he has to learn how to do it, how to be a pro. He hasn't learned how to be a pro yet. And I think that has a lot to do with what's going on with him as a player. He's just not taking that next step. And that comes with preparation. That comes with watching film. That comes from, doing the little things and asking questions on how I can be a more effective player. When I was in the league, I was always trying to learn. I was always watching film. I sat back and, for a long time, I watched film on Eric Williams. Yeah, he was a Cowboy.
For the Cowboys,
Physical player. So I try to implement a little bit of my game with his game. I want to be a physical type of player. I didn't want to be, you look at guys like Jonathan Ogden. There's no way I could play like Jonathan Ogden, so there's no need in me watching film on him because Jonathan Ogden had an awkward game because he was just so long. Like he could be standing straight up and his arms be going straight down and his arms would almost be touching his knees. That's how long his arms were. You know what I'm saying? So I knew I wouldn't have that game, but I knew I could play like Eric because I could be more physical and be a physical dominating type of player. So, you just got to learn how to be a pro.
All right, let's pull up this tweet of this play from last night's game where the Giants, this is the third down play. We talked about this briefly with Dave. Just watch this, Barrett.
Why does the quarterback throw the ball? Why can't he find anybody open? I don't know. Because these guys are here.
Look at that. That's 3 players. 3 Giants.
Where do you want to throw the football?
And I understand what they're trying to do.
This is a disaster, New York Giants. You practice this play? This is a disaster. Who you want him to throw the ball to?
That's Orlovsky from ESPN. It's pretty funny. It's a disaster.
That is funny.
That's the thing about football, man. It's all on film, and you can go back and pick apart all this
exactly
stuff.
And you know what? That's kind of the same route combination that Smith had against Denver when he got hit in the second window. Was it Denver or was it his second touchdown? Yes, against Denver. When he he had a drag route. If you see that, they had double drag routes on the other side, double crossing routes. But the first receiver is supposed to go, and then that second receiver, he has delay a little bit before he goes and runs the same route. And the guy that's running that drag route across on the other side, he's supposed to stay shallower, but the linebacker stops
closer to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it's supposed to be shallower towards the line of scrimmage, but yet he let that defender bow him out, which made him run into the first guy that was coming. And then the second drag route, he's trying to go across, but he went too fast. So they're right in the same place at the same time. That's just bad, fundamental route running, number one, but coaching, number two. I mean, the second guy has a hold off on the right side. He has to hold off a little bit before he goes and makes that route. And then the front side guy, when he's going to go across, he has to run more shallower. That's simple, just basic route running and understanding what you're supposed to be and where your target is in your route. Right. That's just crazy, man. I feel his pain, man. That's simply ridiculous. Ridiculous. Orlovsky is definitely right for seeing that, man, because that was ridiculous. How do you do that? No wonder this guy's getting killed. So when you sit in a meeting, I can see Jason Garrett now just looking at me like, what is this? How could I cannot have coached it.
That's his offense, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I love him, man. Jason Garrett was my guy. I played with Jason in Detroit, when I was with the Giants. He was there when I was with the Giants. He was a second-team quarterback. And you always knew, smart guy, Princeton guy, yeah. You knew he was going to be a guy that's going to be a coach. You already knew it, man. He was helping Kerry Collins in his maturation to become a quarterback, so that's what he was there for. But
he hasn't done much for Daniel Jones.
No, he hasn't. What
do you have, two interceptions last night?
Crazy.
Yeah.
But
I feel bad for Saquon Barkley. Not because he's a Giant. I just like him. And I'm not even a Penn State guy, but I just think he's it's just
wasting
a quality individual. It's just a waste. It's a waste of a pick.
Right.
That draft pick is looking like a total waste.
And he's looked like he's hobbled still.
Yeah, he's hurt.
He didn't look explosive. He didn't look like the Saquon I saw his first year. The Saquon I saw his first year was just raw. I mean, he'd do everything, man.
You think of that draft when they took him in 2018 with the second overall pick. Right. I mean, I hate to say it because I love the run game, but this is why you don't take a guy like that high in the draft.
Look at Zeke. Zeke with number 4. Look at him now.
And I mean, he's had some really good years, but is he really giving you the type of production year in and year out? The problem is it just, it can go at any time. They took Saquon with the second overall pick and then their second round pick. And I remember when they made this pick because it was like when they had this awful offensive line and here's their guy in the middle. They're going to take this guard from Texas, El Paso. Will Hernandez.
Yes, Will Hernandez.
He's been a disaster.
He got beat like a drum yesterday.
A couple penalties, too. He's grabbing everybody. It's been awful for that guy. So that's your first 2 picks. The one guy's hurt all the time.
Yep.
And, either that or you're behind in games and you really, really kind of makes him somewhat irrelevant because it takes away the run. And then the second round guy just can't play.
Well, you know what? Look at the rest of their roster. Kenny Golladay was the number 1 free agent.
Their free
last
agent,
year in as far as receivers.
He didn't look good at all.
Right. I mean, come on, man. And then Kadarius Toney. He can't stay healthy.
Right.
It's a threat, in return game. Then you have Saquon. He can't.
They had him throwing a pass last night, didn't they? Because he was a quarterback in high school. I mean, this is where they are at the gadget place, in week 11.
Oh, my goodness.
They threw the fat guy last night. Right. The offensive lineman they took from Georgia a couple years ago caught a touchdown.
Thomas. Yeah. I mean, he showed some athleticism.
Yeah, he did.
Too, didn't he? Yeah. He showed some athleticism,
He's got better hands than Reagor.
Right.
Honestly, man. He made a nice play in the end zone. I was impressed.
Well, you look at them, man. They have so many weapons, just like Dave was saying on the offensive side of the ball. When I look at them, man, they got, Kenny Golladay. Sterling Shepard is still a good player, receiver for Oklahoma. He's been the slot guy for, the last 5 or 6 years. Darius Slayton used to be, so in sync with Daniel Jones. He was almost their number 1 receiver back in the day. Right. Then you have speed and John Ross, former Washington wide receiver.
He's never developed,
guy, in Cincinnati.
He was a first-round pick, too.
Yeah. He was a first-round pick. Then you have Pharaoh Cooper. I think they just got him to be a special teams guy. But look at the offensive line. They went out and got Nate Soldiers and took him from Tom Brady and when he was in New England.
Right. The
Evan
tackle.
Ingram, yeah.
He can't
Evan
stay
Ingram
healthy either.
can't
and
stay healthy.
He drops too many balls too.
Way too many balls.
Yeah.
Other than that, man, I just don't see anything going right for him, man. Nothing going right for them at all. I mean, he had Kyle Rudolph from Minnesota. I think he's just done.
He made a nice play down the sideline last night.
Yeah.
They did. That was one of their good plays.
But he's more than just that. He's he's one of those tight ends that you can use in so many situations. He was their number one threat in Minnesota for a long time, man. But he's not doing anything substantial right now. So they have the weapons on the offensive side of the ball. They have all the weapons. They just don't have, anything else. You know what I mean?
Galladay has only played in 7 games, and he only has 20 catches.
Wow.
That's like 3 a game. I mean, for your number one wide receiver and your big offseason acquisition, that is anemic.
Anemic.
0 touchdowns. 0 touchdowns.
That's crazy. You know what I mean? That's really crazy. And then Saquon just can't stay on the field, man. Saquon is so good, man. I mean, strong, physical, slasher, speed, runs well in between the tackles. You can do a lot with him. They just haven't been able to use him because he's been hurt. And I'm not mad. Let him stay that way.
6 games he's played this year.
Stay broken.
He played 6 games this year, 2 games. Or no, excuse me. No, that's wrong.
Not even that many. He hadn't played that many.
He's played 6 games this year and 2 games last year. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hate to do it to him.
His first year, he played all 16 and had total yards from scrimmage of over 2,000 yards.
Right.
He had 700 yards in the catching, receiving, and 1,300 on the ground.
Wow.
But it's been downhill ever since. He's got 2 touchdowns in the past 2 seasons. Played 8 games.
That's one thing about Howard that I do like in the Eagles organization. They will not spare on offensive linemen. They'll go draft offensive linemen. If they don't do anything else, they will draft offensive linemen.
Yeah. Well, that was an Andy Reid philosophy, I think, that Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman adopted. I think that was more Andy Reid than anybody else.
Yes, and they've invested in that offensive line, and they're starting to reap the benefits now from that. Second round pick. I was like, man, why would they waste a second round pick? They could go with that safety that's playing with the Panthers right now. Why are they going to get
Dickerson?
This Landon Dickerson guy?
Yeah.
Well, it turned out that we needed Landon Dickerson in the worst way.
Well, yeah, with the Brandon Brooks and the Sayamalu injury.
Right.
What are they going to do when Kelsey finally has to hang it up?
Well, I assume that they're going to put
Sayamalu in there?
Sayamalu there, or even Landon Dickerson there. He played center.
He's awfully big for a center, though, isn't he?
I know.
I mean, isn't he too tall to play center?
Well, I mean, that's what he played in college.
Yeah,
he played a lot of center in college and a lot of center, a lot of guard also.
A lot of the centers in the NFL though are like 6'2", 6'3".
Because it's hard to see around them if you're not. You know,
you're
what I mean?
Right.
It's really hard to sit around them. So that you're right, man. It's he might be too big, but I mean, Sayamalu's probably a better fit anyways to be in an offense there. So I would put Sayamalu there, but I don't know how healthy he's going to be. Then you look at Brooks, I can't wait for the Brooks to get back. I haven't heard anything from him.
No, I know.
So I don't know what the word is. I mean, has he practiced or anything? I don't know.
I don't know. It's
Stream,
probably
you guys heard anything yet?
What do you have? Back-to-back Achilles?
Yep.
That's rough, man.
Yeah. But I don't think it was. I don't think an Achilles this time. I think.
It wasn't.
No, I think it was an arm injury, a bicep, tricep, or something like that, or a chest, something like that. Yeah.
I know he's had an Achilles.
Chest. Yeah, he did both.
That's got to be the worst, man.
Yeah, but you can come back from it. JP did. He came back and played.
He had it twice.
Yep.
He had it twice.
Yep. Back-to-back seasons.
That's rough, man. Let me see if there's anything here on Brandon Brooks. Yeah, it was a pectoral muscle.
Pec, yeah. Well, I played with a guy that ripped his pec and just never got it repaired and just kept on playing. Steve Everett.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he ripped his pec while I was in playing with the Ravens, and he didn't get it repaired. So if you look at his muscle in his pec is slid over, and it just stayed there. So like his chest now, he has a big peck on one side, and he has a half a peck on the other side.
Half a peck?
Yes, half a peck on the other side. He just never got it fixed. So you have this big peck over here, and then the half a peck over here. You know,
I probably have a quarter peck. All right, now this is from September of 2021 on Eagles Maven, Ed Kratz, who I had on. We've had him on the show. He's been on Birds 365 too. It's saying that Brandon Brooks' season isn't over. Brooks suffered just a strained pectoral and not a full tear. Not the catastrophic rupture that befell Grant. This is saying that he could have been available as early as this past game.
Well, that's what they were thinking.
Yeah.
That's what they were thinking.
So maybe there was a setback or something.
Right. Or maybe just not ready yet.
But I think Driscoll's done a decent job.
No, Driscoll's done a great job.
You know?
He's done a great job. But still, even, if Brandon Brooks is there, they would be even better than what they are right now. Can you imagine him run blocking off his side?
Right.
With him and Lane there? Two guys that played together for a long time.
Yeah.
They could definitely go out there and make some definite hay.
Yeah, I mean, you think about this running game that they've discovered in the last 4 weeks is right in line with Lane Johnson's return, isn't it?
Yep.
From his hiatus.
Well,
so
there's a lot of factors that you could think about that you look at this running game. They start running the ball when he came back, number one. But also look at the tight end position. You had Zach Ertz and 11 personnel and all that stuff, and Zach Ertz is not a blocker.
Not a good blocker, no.
So they trade him, and all of a sudden, bam! Now we're starting to run the ball. I mean, those two things coincide a little bit. I was talking to my producer, Mike Mulhern, and he said he was just researching, looking at it. It wasn't until those two guys left the offense that they really started running the ball, and it kind of coincides really with that happening.
That's
when Dillard was in there. Dillard's not a run blocker. So all those games he played at the left tackle position, they weren't able to run the ball because he's not a good run blocker. Once Jordan came back and became the left tackle again, then things started to turn around and they started running the ball more.
Yeah. See, that's why Howie drafted Dillard, because he doesn't want to run the ball.
Right.
So he's going to draft a tackle in the first round that just can pass block, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think he gets traded this year.
Yeah, probably.
I think he gets traded, and it'll probably be during the draft, and they'll probably get like a second or third rounder for him also. He showed enough that
I'd be okay with that.
Oh, no question about that. No question.
Absolutely. All right, we got to take a short time out. We'll be back with more on the other side. We got some more video to go through. We got to discuss Mayor of Havertown. I tried to get to this yesterday, but we had too much other football stuff. But our buddy Rob Ellis dubbed this woman Mayor of Havertown. We'll get to that and a whole lot more. Even your boy Barkan. Barkan is upset with the Eagles fans at the link.
Why?
Yeah, I'll tell you why in the next hour. Stay tuned. Barrett Brooks and Harry Mays here on The Middle on the JAKIB Media YouTube.